and enjoy the action. What a game to kick us off. It's the Edinburgh Derby, Hibs at home to Hearts, with John Hughes, Michael Stewart and Rob McLean.
Cheers, Kenny. Not much in the way of capital gains for the Edinburgh pair in the last month or so, both on a pretty drastic losing sequence. Which one of them will stop the slide? You can feel the tension in the air, even though as you look down on the pitch, it is a glorious day for this famous fixture. Only the shadow of one of the stands gets in the way of total sunshine beaming down on Easter Road. Always the stakes are high in this one, but you only have to cast your eye over the league table to see how much this matters as the season comes to its climax. It's 5 straight defeats for Hearts in all competitions. It's 4 for Hibs, who are now hanging on by their fingernails to a place in the top 6. Just one more game after this one before the split. And as for Hearts, well, they could only watch last night as their rivals for third place, the slot they held last season, Aberdeen, stretched the advantage between third and fourth to 5 points. Can they close that today? Can they keep up their record in this Edinburgh Derby? 3 changes in each side, with Hanlon and Stevenson and Doyle Hayes back for the home team. Chebraya, McCurdy and Campbell drop out. Clark, Sibbick, Mackay returning for Hearts in Stephen Naismith's selection. Stewart, Hill and Snodgrass out of the team. And in the case of former Scotland international Robert Snodgrass, out of Tynecastle for good. Underway in Leith in the 4th Edinburgh Derby of the season, and it's been 2 wins and a draw so far for Hearts.
Well, there's an area of the park for me that if Hibs are looking to try to get at Hearts, they need to. Michael Smith, he's a weak link now in the Hearts side for me. It's an area they need to really strengthen.
In terms of his legs, Michael?
Absolutely, he's gone. He's gone.
In comes an early long throw for Hibs. Cleared back into the box and grabbed by Zander Clark. Back in goal for Hearts.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is you've got Johan, who's probably going to play a little bit more centrally, but that is the area of the park that Hibs. Johan, he's got great pace. Not particularly sure of his end product at times, but if you're looking at somewhere that you would look for a match-up to try to get the upper hand, give Johan the ball and tell him to go and get 1v1 against Michael Smith, because as John's just said there, his legs have gone.
So opening up with 2 back fours, lots of speculation, lots of guesswork as well as to the shape of these 2 teams, but it is Sibbick and Rolls in the middle of the back 4 for Hearts, and it does look as if it is Fish and Hanlon for Hibs. All that of course could change in the blink of an eye. On the ball, Alan Forrest getting an opportunity to start the game here, as he did last weekend as well, but for much of the season he's not been favoured, and was it a handball as the pass was threaded through towards Ellie Yuan.
Yeah, we're talking about Smith as well. He's blocked that one, the through ball there. It looks like it's his calf, Rob.
Yeah, he's gone down, stayed down, and he's going to have to be replaced with less than 2 minutes played.
It's an area of the park that Hearts needed to strengthen, and Michael Smith, I just said to you, I think he's a shadow of the player he was a few years ago, and Nathaniel Atkinson's not done the job, and it's a weak part, whether they're playing as a wing back or whether they're playing a back 4, and you can see it's caught up with him, Michael Smith. I mean, look, it wasn't a difficult block, but so many times I've seen him with muscular problems in the last year or so, and a couple of minutes in, stretched slightly and looks as if it's either a hamstring or a calf, and you could see the rest of the players there were indicating that he needed to come off. It was a substitution needed.
Still down, still getting treatment on the Easter Road playing surface, and immediately some concern written all over the face of the interim manager right down on the touchline underneath us, Stephen Naismith. Barry Mackay trotting across to have a word with the gaffer.
Well, Nathaniel Atkinson's the one that's on the bench, but as I've said to you before, he's not really hit the heights that you would have expected and wanted. It's a huge call for Stephen Naismith. What does he do? Does he change the system, or does he put Atkinson in as a like-for-like substitution?
Michael Smith cagily getting back to his feet and walking none too steadily across the Easter Road pitch at the moment with the medical team around him.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that Hibs set-up, Rob, and it is Johan playing wide on the left, possibly, as Michael says, to get at Smith. You know, so and Nisbet's up there on his own. It looks like Doyle, who is one in front in Newell and Jago. So, you know, plenty of width in the team. Hopefully they can feed them and get the crosses in and give someone some.
Well, they won't be
for Nisbet to get on the end of.
He won't be getting at Smith anymore because it's the end of the match. 4 Hearts number 2, and Nathaniel Atkinson is now readied to replace him. So that change is made immediately. Disruption to Hearts in the derby.
Yeah, I feel for Smith. Might have been there at that age where you go, you know, the mind tells you you think you can do it, but the body's giving up.
The same things apply with Atkinson though.
Into the box from the free kick, and Hearts have to keep concentration. So often that can slip when there's a change and a delay. The ball is back with David Marshall well out of the penalty box as he launches it forward. Headed away by Kingsley. Good touch in the centre circle by Shankland, and he rolls it back to give Nathaniel Atkinson his first touch as Smith's replacement. Played up for Forrest and laid off to the skipper. Shankland goes for the crossfield ball.
Great ball.
And does well to pick out Barry Mackay. Ahead of him, Kingsley makes the move and fires the ball across goal. Good block by Will Fish, stretching at the near post to make sure that didn't get through.
Great play from Hearts. And I was just going to say before, when Shankland took that ball and when it came up to him, he's one of the few, you know, big players for Hearts who's continued to perform pretty well. A lot of them have been off the boil, clearly with the results, but Lawrence Shankland on the whole, his performance levels have still been pretty good.
22 goals for him. That's a total that speaks for itself. Nice spin by Barry Mackay. Goes down looking for the free kick and gets it. 10 yards inside the Hibs half.
Yeah, it was good play for Mackay. He's got that wee dip of the shoulder and good refereeing as well. You know, I don't think it was a booking. There was contact. I see Mackay wanting a booking, but
yeah,
there was contact. But great play, and that's what he's got in his locker. You know, he can just unlock that door. So good play. Keep him as far away from the Hibs goal as possible.
Hearts need a performance from Barry Mackay. He can make such a difference when he's on his game. Free kick has been taken. George Grant in possession, and he rolls it wide for Mackay again. Almost on the touchline, just jinking his way inside. And in comes the challenge from CJ Egan-Riley to prod the ball out of play. You're with BBC Radio Scotland, the Edinburgh derby. Hibs 0, Hearts 0, and Stephen Kingsley with the ball in his hands, about to take the throw in. Grant takes it in under pressure and has his pocket picked. And as Jake Doyle has tried to play a ball down the line, Andy Halliday was in the way.
Well, you could see that as soon as the ball went into Grant there, Joe Newell was in behind him applying pressure. Obviously what Lee Johnson was talking about before, the 3 players in the middle of the park, Jago, Jake Doyle Hayes and Newell.
Long ball from Will Fish. Kingsley in trouble. Cadden has it, curls the ball in near post. It was a searching examination for Kai Rolls, and he was at full stretch to hook that left-footed away. And Hibs come again with Cadden looking to get the ball in the box. The ball played back to him wasn't great, and in the end it's out for a throw-in close to the corner flag. It's going to be a Hearts throw-in, so it all fizzles out disappointingly for Hibs, having got themselves into a good area.
Yeah, and they need to, I touched on that earlier on, get the ball to Cadden. Johan, one thing about Cadden, he whips in a great cross, and he gets it in early. So, you know, so hopefully, you know, you he keeps getting on that ball and keeps producing.
Yeah, that was a good ball moments ago, and it was well dealt with by Rolls as well. It was awkward.
It was, and by the way, Kai Rolls' performance levels dropped recently, but that was good defending, snuffing out the danger at the front post.
In comes another cross ball from the right hand side. This time Kevin Nisbet had peeled out into the wide area, fielded by Xander Clark, who then tries to rifle the ball quickly in the direction of Alan Forrest. It's beyond him, and it's through to opposite number David Marshall, who bowls it out, and Stevenson is on the move and looks to play a ball inside the fullback for Ellie Ewan. His cross into the middle.
Again,
great
Rolls.
defending again, yeah, terrific from Kai Rolls at the double in terms of the cross he fielded earlier, and that was a really important intervention again from the Australian defender.
Yes, but this time it's down the left hand side. Johan, great ball inside the fullback. You know, Johan's good enough cross. Striker just needs to get across the face of the defender.
Yeah, good play. Lewis Stevenson, just that ball inside Atkinson, and it becomes a foot race. Ellie Ewan's going to beat them. Great defending from Kai Rolls, though. You know, that's what he was showing before.
Yeah.
A real sense of being able to snuff out danger, getting himself in the right positions, and that's twice that he's just done it there in short space of time.
Oh, that could well be yellow. He'll be fortunate if he gets away with it. He won't get away with it. CJ Egan-Riley clattering into Barry Mackay, sending him airborne at Easter Road. It's a free kick, and it had to be yellow as well.
Are you sure, Rob? No, I totally agree with you there. He's just a little bit there. Barry Mackay knew what was coming, just got the flicker around the corner and just teased him in. You know, he'll get up.
I know that's out of the John Hughes scrapbook, that one.
Oh,
but,
nowadays, you're playing with slippers on nowadays.
The only thing is whether he's... Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will be all right once he gets up and moving it. The only thing that might have happened there was just a bit of a dead leg. Because as John said, he managed to nick in just in front of Egan Riley. There's no malice in it. He was just second to get into the ball.
But it's early to have a yellow card against your name. 10 minutes gone at Easter Road, BBC Radio Scotland. Hibs 0, Hearts 0. Free kick for the Tynecastle team. To Kingsley it goes, and down the line for Mackay, giving him plenty of the ball early on here, looking to link up with Grant, lost it and then got it back. Halliday to Devlin, and it's rolled out wide for his fellow countryman. Well, he tried to roll it out wide, but it lacked pace to find Atkinson, and that allowed Ewan to intercept and put the ball out of play.
You can see Hearts are trying to knock the ball around, and you know, using the two guys in the middle of the park, Devlin and Halliday, which is good to see.
Good play from Atkinson, under pressure, did well to find Devlin with his pass. Then Kingsley's header intercepted. He tries again. Hearts number 3. The ball is lofted over the top of him, and down goes Chris Cadden, and it's going to be a free kick in a very inviting position, this, for Hibs, about 5 yards in from the touchline, 10 yards from the corner flag, right hand side.
Yeah, really stupid defender by Kingsley. Just leaned on him, and Cadden, you know, he just felt that went over, bought the free kick, and as you say, dangerous position. Big guys have come up, Hanlon's come up, Fish has come up there.
Well, you can see Stephen Kingsley was complaining to the linesman, and I can understand why, but at the same time, John's hit the nail on the head. Slightest of touches, Cadden's running at full pelt. It's a free kick all day long.
Experienced enough to know that he could have left him alone. Joe Newell with the free kick in for Hibs into a great area. There were lots of Hibs players around, but it goes between everyone and bounces behind for a goal.
I think it was Nisbet. It's the in swinger for Newell, and it was Nisbet was on his head. He just tried to glance it, you know, and just never got enough on it.
What a ball in from Joe Newell, and Hearts have got away with one there because it just bounced through and behind, and had Nisbet got a decent touch on that, could have been 1-0 Hibs.
I don't know who was defending against them and whether they were just strong enough and held him off, or whether he's just missed it himself. But one thing's for sure, he was static, he was in position. Had he given himself just an extra yard to maybe run onto it, it could have been a different story. That's a great ball from David Marshall.
What a ball from the goalkeeper, and Atkinson's done really well to stop Ellie Ewan, because from the goalkeeper it was laser-like straight to Ewan, and he should have done better with it. Atkinson snuffed out the threat in the end. Another clearance from Kai Rolls, almost like a magnet in the middle of that Hearts defence early on. The ball seems to be coming to him regularly when Hibs do get it into the box. Out for a throw-in, left-hand side for Hibs. Lewis Stevenson to take it, one of 3 changes to the Hibs team, with Hanlon and Doyle Hayes returning as well. They look like a significant trio to be back in the team, and back it goes to Hanlon from Stevenson and into the centre circle for Fish, right across the back line. Egan Riley kept it in on the touchline. Cadden threads it inside for Doyle Hayes. The return pass doesn't hit its target. Halliday in the way. Now Mackay running with the ball up to halfway. Down he goes, looking for another free kick. Not going to get it this time. But Hearts have possession, and Sibic striding forward with the ball, and he rolls it wide for Atkinson. This looks promising for Hearts. Atkinson cuts it back, and Alan Forrest had a big chance. 15 yards out, he buries his face in his hands because he's scuffed it wide.
Should have done better.
Yeah, he should have hit the target.
Stepping onto the cup, but that's good play from Toby Sibic first of all, and then Atkinson, when he got into the position, he picks out the cutback perfectly, and Alan Forrest is stepping onto that, and he's got the goal at his mercy really to miss the target. It's not a difficult one, he's not having to hit it with the laces and lose a bit of accuracy there. He's got it with the instep, and because he's on that inside right channel, he'll be able to get a bit of whip on it, and he's just passed it past the post. That's a big chance there for Hearts.
I just wonder if that's all about lack of game time, Michael, lack of sharpness. Had he been playing regularly, would he have snapped up that chance?
Possibly. I mean, look, you can say that for a lot of, not in terms of game time, but when confidence is low, things just don't come as easily, and that's what's been going on the last wee spell for Hearts. The confidence is quite clearly low, but I've got to say, I think the opening stages of the game so far, Hearts have been looking to pass the ball around quite well.
Doyle Hayes flicks it forward, comes off the head of Cammy Devlin, and Hibs have it with Yuan and Stevenson combining down the left-hand side. Good burst of pace from the Frenchman, heading for the byline, and it goes behind off Toby Sibic, and Hibs will have a corner kick left-hand side.
Yeah, he done well there. He just run out of grass, but he was clever enough just to play it off the defender. By Hibs, a corner kick.
In the shaded area at the end of the ground, Jake Doyle Hayes is across to take this, and plenty of targets to aim at in the middle. 15 minutes gone in the derby. Jake Doyle Hayes swings in the corner kick. Xander Clark came from it, tried to get gloves on it. I think Kingsley got in his way. Kai Rolls was there as well. The ball goes all the way across and out for a throw-in on the other side. Wasn't the most convincing bit of goalkeeping you've ever seen. It's going to be a throw-in here for Joe Newell, just a few yards from the corner flag, right-hand side. 0-0 in the Edinburgh Derby, BBC Radio Scotland. Newell's throw, lots of distance on it, right into the heart of the 6-yard box, not cleared. Nisbet looked as if he had half a chance. Then it was Yuan, had a swing at it. Then it was scrambled clear by Hearts. Good pressure from the home team. Here comes Stevenson, who swings another ball into the area. Hanlon has stayed up, he knocks it down. John Newell on the volley! Misses the target, another chance for Hibs.
Yeah, it just wouldn't sit down for him. It was on his left foot. It was just had to take it at a height. He couldn't get the trajectory on it to keep it down and hit the target.
Ends up being not the worst attempt there from John Newell, because as John says, it was bouncing really high and he was getting a lot of pressure from the Hearts defence.
The ball doesn't stick for George Grant when it's played forward. Hibs immediately don't make too much of it, but they still have possession with Jake Doyle Hayes. It was a lovely knockdown that from Paul Hanlon, who'd stayed forward to set up Newell. Hibs moving well again, and as I said that, of course, Chris Cadden, who'd got himself into a great position, didn't wrap his right boot around it, and it flies behind the goal of Xander Clark.
That was me playing him up earlier on, saying he's a great crosser of the football. Kiss of death.
Well, he normally is, you're right.
He is, yeah.
But there, and you're right, he likes to put balls in early. He doesn't always have to beat the defender. But on that occasion there, with the ball being slid in behind Stephen Kingsley, I thought he could have taken a touch and knocked it in towards the goal. He was right out on the shy line. I thought he had the chance to take an extra touch and set himself. Don't think he needed to try to get that in as early as he was attempting to.
No, he had room to run into there, Michael. Definitely could have been more composed in the moment, but this is a tension-packed Edinburgh derby. Stakes always high and never higher, as these two look to recover from really poor runs. That was a poor pass from Hibs, given away. Barry Mackay onto it, approaching the edge of the area now, inside, hooks it in for Shanklin, had a swing, it was blocked, not yet cleared. In goes Grant, in goes Devlin, it's scrambled behind, it's going to be a goal kick.
Will Fish,
Yeah, it was
great
Will
defending, great defending in the end, but do you know, that's a few times clearly for Hearts. Barry Mackay's keeping real width on this left hand side, and whenever the game's down the other side, they're looking for a quick crossfield ball over to him. The ball got just before, Egan Riley managed to get the block on it, but then Will Fish with a really poor ball into the middle of the park, and it landed, I think it was Cammy Devlin who first time fired it out to Barry Mackay, and he was able to get a run on the Hibs defence.
Always seems to be an overlap as well, Michael. Is it Grant coming in overlap or Kingsley as a fullback?
Yep.
Then it's out wide to Mackay.
Inside the 19th minute at Easter Road, Hibs 0, Hearts 0. Jake Doyle-Hayes in possession, short pass inside, Devlin's challenge, free kick given, he was late on Newell, and the Hibs players are around John Beaton asking for yellow.
That's not a yellow card though for me. You know, he's just gone to ground. It's a free kick, absolutely. I mean, the Hibs players and John Beaton, like, you know, he can make it look like he's composed himself, he's walking over the challenge. He wasn't going to give a yellow card there, of that I am convinced, until he was surrounded by 3 or 4 Hibs players.
You either give it immediately or you don't, you would have thought, but there was plenty player pressure on the referee there, and he has flashed a yellow in the face of Cammy Devlin.
And I don't think it was a yellow card. You know, look, he didn't dive into the challenge with any real force. He went to ground, he was slightly late, and the Hibs player nicked it in front of him. Free kick, absolutely. Yellow card, I'm not sure of that. I'm not convinced.
The last time Joe Newell had a free kick out on this right hand side, he put a really good ball into the mix. Can he do so again? Can Hibs be better this time on the end of the delivery? Newell leaves it. It's Jake Doyle-Hayes, right-footed into the box. Hearts deal with it pretty impressively and now look to counter with Forrest running with the ball into the centre circle, and he's been pulled back, pulled down by Jake Doyle-Hayes, and a bit of afters going on.
I don't know why Cammy Devlin's like jumping on him, and also I've got to say that ends up being really poor play from Jake Doyle-Hayes for me. You know, you can talk about
terms of positional play, Michael. Would you have done that for the team?
But he didn't need to.
No.
There's another player right next to him, and he still was in contact with the player. He still could have won the ball. You know, for me it's just cheap. He's taking a yellow card. You can talk about taking one for the team. Stupid. I don't think he needed to. I think he still could have won the ball.
I think he panicked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There were 2 Hibs players around Devlin, and it looked like it could be dealt with in pretty straightforward fashion, any threat that was being posed, but just lost his composure, Jake Doyle-Hayes, and he's got a yellow card. Crossfield from the free kick towards Mackay. Egan Riley sees it coming and heads the ball out of play. It's going to be a Hearts throw, left-hand side, midway inside Hibs territory, 0-0. In the derby, 21 minutes gone. Kingsley to Shanklin.
Was Jake Doyle-Hayes? That's honestly
for Mackay, and another challenge.
Well, do you know what? That's good play from me for John Beaton. Jake Doyle-Hayes, the ball got thrown at the park. He's standing there and he flicked it back into play as if to say, look, there's 2 balls in the park.
As the game's going on,
just pass it off the park.
John Beaton having a word with Hibs number 8 as Hearts prepare to take this corner kick. George Grant is over the ball. Barry Mackay is in close proximity. It is taken short. Mackay floats in the cross ball, glancing header away, will be collected by Devlin. Has a look at the box, rolls it down the side. In comes the cross ball, and it's a looping header from Lawrence Shanklin in the end, which drops into the gloves of Marshall, and he immediately unloads it for Chris Cadden, covering across Atkinson. That's great defending, coming all the way across from right back to get there first. Hibs have the ball with Egan Riley, back to Will Fish, who conceded the penalty at Tannadice last weekend, which gifted Dundee United a big win. Nice pass again, angled out for Hibs towards Cadden, who works the 1-2. with Doyle Hayes, the cross ball in and headed behind by Rolls. Hibs corner kick coming up.
Good play from Hibs. Got to say, Kingsley's a shadow of the player he was 6 months ago. He needs to see he gave himself
a couple of yards, Michael. He's getting too tight in Cadden. That's 2 or 3 times he's played the 1-2 round him. Just give yourself a couple of yards.
It's not like Cadden's got blistering pace. You know, Stephen Kingsley for me just wouldn't have been beaten like that 6 months ago.
23 minutes into the Edinburgh derby. Corner kick, right hand side. Joe Newell fires it in, left footed. Hibs player on the deck. Hearts get it clear. Funneled back out wide for Newell. On his chest, gets it down on the left foot. Great ball in. Cleared not too convincingly by Grant. 25 yards out, Hibs have possession with Fish to Egan Riley. His cross ball, another header away. This time it was Kingsley dealing with it. Hibs looking to keep the pressure on here. Cadden's header into the box. It drops for Egan Riley. His shot blocked. Hanlon tries to get a shot away.
What a save from Xander Clark.
Was it the goalkeeper that saved it?
Great save.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Looked as if Egan Riley was about to score for Hibs. Great stop. And now the game swings down to the other end with Barry Mackay against Egan Riley. Cuts inside. 30 yards from goal, and he tried to reverse a pass, disguise a pass in towards George Grant. Lawrence Shankland was there as well. He was flat-footed as the ball ran through to David Marshall.
Yeah, what a chance here for Hibs. As you see, Egan Riley, it's the way he struck it. He's not sclaffed it. He really got caught out with the laces. An absolute fantastic save. I think it was for the right foot of the goalkeeper.
Here come Hibs again, having a good spell, the home team. Cadden's cross ball bouncing awkwardly in front of Rolls. You have to be very careful there. It's gone behind for another Hibs corner. They really are turning the heat up.
Well, I was talking about Hibs getting down the left-hand side and getting at Michael Smith. You've got to say that Cadden's been getting the better of Kingsley down the other side, putting good balls in. And then equally for Hearts, you know, it's the crossfield ball early out to Barry Mackay and getting him going and attacking at the Hibs defence. That's where Hearts have been getting a little bit of joy, but certainly at this moment feels like the pressure's going towards Hearts' goal.
Hibs are banging on the door at the moment. Can they find a way in? Newell's corner kick, left-footed again into a great area. It's cleared. Jake Doyle Hayes has a swing at it. The spin's going to keep it in, and Hearts don't deal with it. They had a chance to get rid of that. Cammy Devlin gets away with one there, as he really failed to get rid of that first time around, but finally scrambled out of the danger zone by the Tynecastle team.
It wasn't an easy one to deal with though, because there was so much spin on it that he was going to have to take a touch and then try to make a clearance, and the Hibs players were right on top of him. It wasn't one that he could easily just clear first time.
25 minutes played in the 4th Edinburgh derby of the season. 2 wins and a draw for Hearts so far, 9 unbeaten in this famous fixture. But under a fair bit of pressure in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes. Hibs on the ascendancy, as in goes Kevin Nisbet, right side of the box, rolls it back for Eli Yuan. He's off balance, and all he can do is screw his shot over the top.
Good play with Nisbet when it's got played down. Just flicked on round the corner on the edge of the box. He's muscled, I think it's Sibbick out the way there.
It was Kai Rolls.
Was it Kai Rolls? But the cutback was just behind Johan. You know, and he never had the agility to get on the target.
There was no easy option for Nisbet there. It was from a tight angle.
Would you have shot for there, Michael?
Well, I'm just thinking him as a striker. You know, probably. I was expecting him just to have the shot. Although, if the cutback is a little bit more accurate and a wee bit less pace on it, then Johan's getting a good strike. So, as I said, there wasn't any obvious option.
Hibs looking to get some reward for a very impressive spell in the derby. The ball goes out off Chris Cadden underneath us. Hibs producing some impressive stuff, John, at the moment.
Yep. The last 10 minutes, as Michael says there, it's certainly swung in their favour. They've had a couple of good half chances. The best one, as you say there, felt Egan Riley, and a great save.
Shankland does well against Hanlon, but can't find the pass to release Atkinson down the right-hand side. It goes out for a throw-in.
Almost. You know, Lawrence Shankland has got real good strength, and he just held off the challenge of Paul Hanlon there. It broke for him, almost releasing Atkinson, who would have been in a lot of space.
Still goalless, but compelling viewing as the ball goes over the top of the Hearts defence. It was Rolls who got caught under it, dropped in behind him, and the chance for Kevin Nisbet.
Unbelievable. Straight ball over the top. Your centre half, never let the ball bounce. Go and deal with it. Talk about it later. And I don't know if there was communication, but Nisbet was just on the end of it. And you know, as I say once again, you know, if Nisbet keeps doing what he's doing, you know, these chances will keep coming.
He's done some good things in the game, Kai Rowles. That was a ghastly error. Here's the Hibs corner kick, fired in by Newell. 6 yards out, Rolls gets his head to it. Back in from Hibs. The ball dropping around the goal line, and Lawrence Shanklin it is back there, who just leathers the ball away and out for a throw.
That's what I was talking about, Rob, at the start of the game before it started. I feel Hibs got on the front foot. They play the good, be the better team, but you need to score the goal.
Yeah.
We've all been in that game a long time, you know, when you need to capitalise when you're in front.
Kai Rowles did really well to mop up his initial mistake as well, though. You know, Nisbet just took a split second too long, and Rowles was back into to nick it off his toes. But as John was talking about there, a straight ball, and he almost pulls out of it at the last bit and lets it go over his head. It was very, very strange. After, I've got to be honest, Kai Rowles is, as I said earlier on, not been brilliant of late, but his performance so far had been not bad up until the last minute or two.
Yeah, that was a howler when he let the ball drop in behind him, but he did recover, and it is still 0-0. Good play from Joe Newell, threading his way through a couple of challenges, and in the end his pass is cut out, but it gets a ripple from the Hibs fans round about us. Their team on top at the moment, but can they get some end product? Egan Riley with a throw. It's lofted forward by Jego, headed away by Kingsley. Egan Riley again just lofts it up in the air. It's another header for Kingsley, hooked away by Grant. Hibs have it though, and it's Stevenson who drives forward with the ball right on the touchline. Eli Yuan against Atkinson. Nathaniel Atkinson is down, and Yuan to the byline, rolls it in for Nisbet. Good defending again from Rolls. Not yet out of danger for Hearts. It is now. Here comes Stevenson, left hand side. Forrest tries to stop the cross. Stevenson gets it in anyway. Nobody in the near post area for Hibs, and it's grabbed by Zander Clark.
Yeah, you can see the whole shape of the game. It's Hibs down either side. There's it Johan down the left, Cadden down the right, looking to get the full back, get the crosses in. And I just feel Hearts, if it's no Mackay out here on the left hand side, Shanklin's not getting a head. So that's why Hibs are on the front foot.
The problem is when they've got into those areas, they've not had the final piece of the jigsaw yet.
Yeah.
You know,
I was watching Nisbet's movement then, Michael, when Johan cut back. He went too far near post. There's a way beyond the near post. They has to stand still.
Yep.
And it's just that wee half a yard to buy yourself space.
He's too eager to get into the area, and sometimes he just needs to stand still and then time his run a little bit better. Because, as you said there, when Johan plays the ball, he's way past. I mean, he was almost in the 6 yard line, you know, way past the front post. But Hibs are getting into dangerous areas, but they're not really fashioned up a clear-cut opportunity yet.
Hearts will be happy. This game is still goalless. 31.5 minutes gone. There was that early opportunity for Alan Forrest, which he sclaffed wide of target, but really for the last 15, getting on to 20 minutes, it's been all about Hibs piling on the pressure.
Here we go, it's a long throw. I've not seen this in a while. Up comes the big ones, Fish handling.
An opportunity for Egan Riley to fling the ball into the box, not convincingly cleared. Jego had the shot at goal, and the shot clatters off one of his teammates, might have been Cadden, and spinning towards Zander Clark, who rolls it out. Two rolls.
Hearts have just got to try and get a bit of time on the ball. They've got to try to, I mean, look, they're looking like a bag of nerves again at the back.
Yeah, they are, Michael.
Dithering in defence. Hearts, Civic was lucky he got away with that against Nisbet.
But the problem is as well, Rob, that there's too many players in the middle of the park that are hiding and they're not looking for the ball.
Yeah.
You know, Toby Sibbick gets caught there, but he's not got enough options.
I mean, quite a few instances in the last few minutes of Hearts players being caught in possession. Grant was guilty as well. But here goes Mackay scurrying down the left-hand side. The complexion could change in a heartbeat as Mackay gets down towards the corner, left-hand side. In the end, Egan Riley knocks the ball out of play, but suddenly Hearts up the pitch. Kingsley with the throw, the touch from Grant, but it didn't find Mackay. It was uncertain, but they have managed to scrap and get the ball back. Halliday to Devlin in the middle of the pitch, 0-0 at Easter Road. Kingsley to Mackay. He's looked the man most likely to make something happen here. Forrest comes across to this side to get on the end of the pass. Back with Mackay, a curling ball in, headed away only as far as Kingsley. Devlin plays it back to Barry Mackay. He can't be on the ball often enough as far as Stephen Naismith's team are concerned. It's a period of possession for Hearts, but Devlin loses it.
No, poor ball.
Yeah, it's behind Yuan from Nisbet. Takes a bit of momentum out of that for Hibs, and then the pass from the Frenchman is overhit down the middle, straight through to Xander Clark.
Decision making from two players there. Kevin Nisbet does great initially, holds it up, knocks it past Devlin. They're breaking on the Hearts defence, there's gaps everywhere. He didn't need to rush the ball. He could have kept and taken an extra touch and had himself set. And then when he plays the ball to Johan, if he waits it perfectly, Johan has basically run on a ball in behind the Hearts defence. Instead, he rushed it, played it behind him, and it wasn't just some of the momentum, all of it was gone. And then when Johan got the ball, he makes the wrong pass. You know, he's trying to slide a almost impossible ball in behind through the middle when Lewis Stevenson's made a 30-40 yard run to get up and support.
Sibbick charging forward from the back, looking to get the ball back from Grant, and careering into Lewis Stevenson as he tried to make something happen on the attack there for Hearts.
That's what Hearts are going to have to do. There's 2v1 at the two centre halves at the back against Nisbet. You can take this thing out of the game, you can go centre half, then eventually one of the centre halves breaks into midfield, and then before you know it, the whole game opens up, as Sibbick just did there.
See, for me, you know, you look at the Hearts midfield, and by the way, it's probably as good as it can get at the moment, but it shows to me that that is an area, as I've been talking about for a good wee while, that needs strengthened dramatically. They're losing the battle here at the moment. Hibs have got the upper hand in the middle of the park.
Barry Mackay runs into Chris Cadden. The ball goes off Cadden, behind for the corner kick. Last time Hibs won the Derby, Boxing Day 2019, but certainly on the balance of play so far, they've got to be in with a good chance. They need to find some quality in the final third. That's what's been lacking for them so far.
They need a goal, desperately, Hibs. Otherwise it'll just peter out.
Meantime, a corner kick for Hearts. Barry Mackay plays it in beyond the back post. David Marshall makes the save from Andy Halliday's header, bouncing into the ground and turned around the post by Marshall.
Yeah, it was Egan Riley that was picking him up and just got caught underneath it. Great header up, powerful down, and Marshall done well to get that around the post.
On the money there from Halliday on the end of the Mackay corner kick. It's going to be a corner now on the other side. Mackay is there, Forrest is there, and a cluster of Hearts players around the penalty spot looking to get on the end of this. We've been talking so much about Hibs on the attack. Could Hearts steal a lead at Easter Road? In comes the corner kick, headed away near a post by Nisbet. And all the way back to Atkinson, who has Yuan breathing down his neck, but stays calm, stays cool, finds Devlin, gets the ball back, and now drives forward with the ball. He's done really well, Atkinson. There's room here for Halliday. Might have gone directly towards goal, but he weaved his way left instead. Now Shankland on the left, coming inside, into the box he goes. Rolled back for Halliday, flicks it to Kingsley, 25 yards out, left-hand side. Forrest jinks his way into the penalty box, does a spin, rolls it to the byline. Kingsley stands it up, back post, and Marshall off his line to grab the ball, and then he's bundled over as he tries to get the ball away quickly, taken out by Shankland.
Yeah, Shankland knew what he was doing there, just stopped the game. A great, as I say, the cross, Marshall come off his line, took it and looking to play quick. Shankland just got in his way. Two of them just having a laugh and a joke there, all Scotland teammates.
I don't think David Marshall's best impressed.
Should that be a yellow?
Do you know what? I'd have to see it again to see. It certainly.
He stopped him releasing the ball quickly.
Yeah, I know.
It?
What I was going to say was, I just wanted to see it again to see if Shankland definitely, deliberately falls on him, or whether it was a bit more clumsy.
Or he makes it look clumsy.
Marshall run over the top of him.
Certainly, if he means it, then he's fortunate.
Yeah, I have a feeling he knew what he was doing. 38 minutes on the clock. Hibs 0, Hearts 0. Hugely entertaining the derby, but it still is short of a goal. Halliday to Kingsley on the halfway line. Hibs working hard at pressing. Little spin from Cammy Devlin, and he rolls it through, takes his time and finds George Grant spinning, and he's away. And now Mackay, left-hand side, Kingsley alongside him. Heading for the byline, Stephen Kingsley hooks it back towards Mackay. In the shade of the main stand, rolled to the byline now for Atkinson, in with the outside of the right boot, and great defending from Paul Hanlon, sniffing out the danger and dealing with it.
Well, it's the right back in the left wing area, and I've got to say Atkinson's done pretty well since he's come on. You know, he's somebody that has been struggling.
He's looked confident, hasn't he?
He has, which is a surprise for somebody that's been out of the team for so long and struggled when they've been in. He's looked pretty good.
That looked like a trip by Jago on Grant, not given. The ball is launched downfield. There looked like a tug then at Toby Sibbick, but he managed to keep hold of possession anyway, under pressure. Rolls to Halliday, and now Devlin in the middle of the pitch, in the sunshine at Easter Road. Forward it goes, in between the lines is Grant. He rolls it wide, left-hand side, Barry Mackay. Two Hibs players in front of him. It's back with Grant, left side of the box. Shut off by Jago, but in comes the cross from Kingsley, and it's a glancing header away by Lewis Stevenson, and out on the far side for a throw.
Grant starting to get on the ball between the lines. The last couple of attacks Hearts have had, it's been into Grant between the lines. You know, and he's just playing it wide. Everything the Hearts are doing is down this left-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was just going to say as well, it just shows you the importance of scoring when you're on top, because you're now approaching half-time here, and Hearts, as John's just said there, are starting to get, you know, a foothold in this game.
Could be a regret, a big regret for Hibs that they haven't struck during their period of ascendancy, because we're 5 minutes away from half-time now, and Hearts beginning to find some rhythm. Shankland to Atkinson, back goes Yuan, backtracking to try and keep a hold on Nathaniel Atkinson, who's been mighty impressive since replacing Michael Smith in the first couple of minutes. He's involved again here, and Forrest scurries across the pitch and links up with Kingsley, but the offside flag has gone up. And we're at 41 minutes in the Edinburgh derby on BBC Radio Scotland. Hibs 0, Hearts 0. Well, it feels like quite a lot of people inside the ground are taking a breath at the moment, because there haven't been too many opportunities to analyse the game. It's being played at a fair old tempo. Hearts feel as if they're right back in this, having had a lot of defending to do as Hibs applied a concerted period of pressure, but no reward at the end of it for them. Back from Hanlon to Marshall, who made that save, a save you'd expect him to make from Halliday's header, but it was on target, and maybe not enough on target down at the other end from a Hibs point of view, considering the possession, the territory, the pressure they've applied. Just that big save from Xander Clark to deny CJ Egan-Riley. And these two at the moment still inseparable at 0-0. 42 minutes gone, and Paul Hanlon in possession. Hanlon with the long ball launched down the left-hand side. Atkinson's headed away. It drops at the feet of Stevenson. Back with Ellie Yuan. Forrest gets involved. The ball goes out. It will be a Hearts throw. Good play from Forrest, who had that chance early in the game, which he dragged wide of target.
He's going to have to do that, Robbie. The Hustiki, the full-back of hand, you know, with Johan with the pace, get back there, and he's finding himself playing more infield. You know, just stay out on the right-hand side. The Hearts have not had much from him.
Mistake.
That right-hand side.
Well, we've been praising Atkinson. He made a mistake there, and he was fortunate that he got away with it against Newell. Newell had that chance earlier on as well on the end of Hanlon's header, which on the volley just wouldn't come down for him, couldn't keep it down, but it was half a chance for Hibs. And
yeah, Hibs just need to get back on the ball, get back on the front foot again, and have a real last 5 minutes of this half, and you know, create another couple of chances, hopefully take one.
Couple of minutes to go in the first half, and 3 at the moment scheduled to be added on, a minimum of 3, as Yuan looks to apply some pressure, looked to try to win the corner kick, but Hearts have dealt with him pretty effectively there. It's going to be a goal kick for Xander Clark.
Atkinson dealt with it really well, really well. You know, the ball over the top from Joe Newell. Yuan was first to it, but he wasn't able to get a good enough contact on it to continue his momentum, and Atkinson gets back in, flicks it off and puts it behind for a bye kick. It's good defending again from the Australian.
On the ball, Toby Sibic for Hearts. A long ball intended for Forrest, but it's plucked out of the air, dropping onto the left boot of Hanlon, and then he launches it downfield. Down goes Yuan.
I think that's a free kick. I don't know what you think.
Not going to be given.
Not. He knew, the fullback knew it was done. Johan was on that. He just made sure it was a coming together, and the two of them went down.
John Beaton shakes his head. No free kick. And the Hearts fans, the Hibs fans I should say, shake their heads because they reckoned it was a stick on.
I'd love to know the angle John Beaton there, but certainly from up here it looked as if Atkinson was falling down and he's just pulled Yuan to the ground.
Sibic launching a ball in behind Egan Riley. It wasn't the worst at all. It had to be dealt with by the Hibs man. It was heading the way of Barry Mackay. It's gone out for the throw-in for Hearts. 10 yards from the corner flag. Left-hand side, Kingsley to Shankland and back. Clipped down the line from Mackay, rolled inside for Grant. Nice little touch. Shankland on the turn, and it's a shot on target from just outside the penalty box. Wasn't going to beat Marshall, but it was nicely created by Hearts, who've definitely recovered, haven't they, from that long period of Hibs pressure when it looked as if it was only a matter of time before the home team went in front. But Hearts have recovered their composure.
Yeah, they have, and they're finishing the half strong, which is perfect for Stephen Naismith going in at half time. But look, there's a recurring theme in Edinburgh Derby games when Hibs have looked like they're on top. They've looked powder puff at the top end though. That's their big problem, not converting pressure.
Cadden on the byline for Hibs, fires it in, it's stabbed away, and really good bit of play from George Grant, reacting to the loose ball which was rolling 15 yards out. He got there first on the end of the desperate clearance, and it was so important for Hearts that he got there and Hibs didn't. Now Hibs on the defensive as Hearts sweep forward with Atkinson and Forrest, and the crossfield ball from Mackay. The tail end of the first half, nice flick from Forrest. Shankland tried to get there, and Will Fish did to get the ball away for Hibs.
Yeah, Rob, Hibs are doing a lot of nice stuff, and they just need a little break and a little break of the ball in that box for someone just to step onto it and get a strikeout goal.
A throw in on the left-hand side. Hearts have a player down.
He just went to check. I think it's
Barry
Mackay. He's just went away to go away from the throw and check to come back on it, and I think his leg went away from him. He slid, and it looks like it's his groin.
He's hauled back to his feet by Andy Halliday and looks to be okay. He receives the throw and rolls it back to Kingsley right at the end of the first half, inside stoppage time. Mackay threads it through. Forrest rolls it back out wide for Kingsley. Now Grant involved, 4 Hearts players, and they're still in possession of the ball. It's worked inside, 25 yards out. Barry Mackay onto the left foot, fires his shot, blocked by his own teammate Shankland, who tries desperately to win it back as Hibs look to break, and they do now get the ball forward to Cadden. Down the touchline from him, Nisbet, had he been able to flick the ball inside, Yuan was there. Civic doing some really important defending for Hearts. He stopped that pass getting through, otherwise Yuan was in on goal.
Yeah, it was just a ball down the channel there, and it was just, as you say, Nisbet. And if he just reversed it round the corner, you know, Johan was in. Great movement for Johan.
It's top defending though, isn't it, from Civic?
Yeah, he's come onto a game. I felt the first 10-15 minutes he looked a little bit nervous, but to be fair, he's come onto a game.
This first half almost over. Joe Newell with the long throw in, and as the ball was partially cleared, Alan Forrest picked up the pieces and launched it away and well out of harm's way. As the half-time whistle goes, we're still goalless at Easter Road, despite particularly Hibs' best efforts. They had a big chunk of that first half in terms of possession of the ball, getting into great attacking areas, just lacking that bit of quality to go in front in the game. And you just wonder, when we reflect on this later on, how much they will rue their failure to create or take some big chances when they were very much on top in the derby. Since then, Hearts have recovered, having done all that defending. They've had opportunities of their own, and it's delicately poised for these two heading towards the second half. First half finished at Easter Road. Hibs 0, Hearts 0.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound,
where Scottish football lives.
What a goal! So, goalless in our first commentary of the day at 3 o'clock. There's the option of commentary, Rangers against St Mirren, and also, of course, open all mics. Some huge games across the country, across the leagues this afternoon. Leanne Crichton with me in the studio. No goals in that first half, but plenty of chances. A decent game?
Yeah, a well contested first half, I would say. I think both sides had their fair share of possession, opportunities. I think you can see that there's a bit at stake for both sides. I think that both teams have looked to show bravery on the ball and play and almost find that identity that we've probably been saying has been lacking ever so slightly. Some good energy. I think the game's been contested at a good pace and a good level. I think there's a bit, a lot of urgency across the pitch. You can see even it goes out for throw-ins, looking to get the ball back in circulation really quickly. It's just been that cutting edge in the final third that's probably lacked, but I don't think both teams can be too disappointed with at least the half chances that they've created, but it's just that goal this far that's lacking.
Yeah, just looking at the stats, Tom English, Hearts 65% possession, 6 shots apiece, 3 on target for the away side. What have you made of the first half?
I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good old battle. A lot of Hibs and Hearts have both got into really good positions, particularly Hibs from that long period of that dominance that they had. They've caused them trouble out wide. I think there's a lot of uncertainty out wide with Hearts, but then they grow into the game. They get a few half chances themselves. Both sides have gone up close, but it hasn't been clear cut. The decision making, particularly from Hibs in the final third, has been poor, but they're asking a lot of questions. I think there's an awful lot of insecurity at the back, and it comes out sporadically with Hearts. Sometimes they'll defend well, other times they'll look very vulnerable. But it's a question of who blinks first. It's so hard to call, but it is good fun.
You said before kick-off, John Hughes, you fancied your former club for the points this afternoon. What have you made of their first half performance?
Yeah, I think Hibs have been, I'm a little bit surprised at the stats. I felt Hibs have been the better team. All credit to Hearts have come into the last 10-15 minutes of the first half. But Hibs down the sides, in terms of Johan and Cadden down the sides, that's where the game's going to be won. And there's been balls fizzed across there, they've been cleared, and they've one or two bouncing about, and a little bit of luck. Hopefully you've got a Hibs player stepping onto it and putting one in the back of the net. In terms of Newell, that chance just about fell from him, just a little bit high, and he couldn't adjust his body to get over the top of the ball to get it on target. But I'm really impressed with Hibs. I think tactically they've got it right, and it's just a matter when you're on top getting the goal. Now, saying all that, I've been in football long enough. that sometimes that the picture, we've been in this picture before. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully the second half they come out, have great belief in themselves and keep doing what they're doing. And if that is the case, to get that wee break and get the goal.
There is a certain panic with Hearts at the back. Whenever Hibs put the ball into the penalty area, whether it's a corner or a free kick or a cross or even a couple of long throw-ins, there is a little bit of a scramble going on there. Far too often, I'd say, for Hearts fans' liking.
And we highlighted Kingsley. As Michael says, alluded to there, he's not the same player as he was a couple of months ago. Must be lacking a little bit of confidence. It's showing up in terms of his energy. And if you look at right down that left-hand side, Hearts, the way to win the game is get the ball to Mackay, but he doesn't want to come back and give Kingsley a hand. And they've got Andy Halliday in there. It's not quite got their legs that can double up when Cadden gets a one-on-one with him. But that's what derby's all about. As the managers were speaking about at the start of the game, you have to win your one-on-one battles. And if your opposition numbers getting in the better of you, 9 times out of 10 that might lead to a goal.
I mean, Mackay looks to be having an influence again. He's been off form. He was on the bench recently. He's been heavily involved in all the good stuff that Hearts have done. Shankland has been very good as well. I think it's intriguing, really. Yeah. It's an intriguing game. The first goal, both sides, the confidence of both of these sides is pretty frail, and whoever scores first, I think it could be a very, very interesting game there on. I hope somebody scores. I hope somebody scores early, but it's interesting.
It certainly is, Leanne, and there seems to be a bit more about this Hibs side today. And you touched on something before the game about the amount of wins they've had against sides that have had a man sent off. And you've got some stats there.
It's staggering, and I knew it was because we had touched on it earlier in the season. But Hibs have won 12 games all season, 8 of those wins, but I will discount the victory that they had against Aberdeen, the rout in the 6-0 game. But 7 of those 12 wins have came against 10 players, and the red card has come, you're talking 44 minutes, 56 minutes, 68 minutes. Lengthy periods, 11 minutes earlier on in the season against Kilmarnock. They picked up a point against Rangers after the red card in 66 minutes in the 2-2 draw. So for me today, they're actually giving a really good account of themselves. I think in 11v11, going at it, energy. John's touched on it. I think the wide areas is vital. I think the way Nisbet links the game is really important. I think the legs and the support that they then have from the middle of the pitch, but they need to capitalise on it, because again, the guys have spoke about that confidence, and when you don't get that first goal and you've given a hell of a lot to the game, it does knock your confidence. And when you're a side that are not used to bouncing back or getting yourself back in the game like Hibs have shown or not shown, it does make a huge difference. So I think they've got to capitalise on the energy that they've got. But as I say, to have only won 12 games all season and 7 out of 12 having that player advantage has been huge, and a lot of those wins as well have come at home at Easter Road, so they need to use that. They need to use the support today, and I think a goal would make all the difference if they could get that goal. But I would agree, I think Hearts on the flip side of that look like a team that are a bit edgy, they're a bit cagey. Again, desperate to get that first goal, because I think it settles you down, it gives you a belief in a foundation that you can go on and get 3 points, and that's what it's all about for both these sides today.
Yeah, I think character, I know John, character's huge in football, and just watching Hibs last weekend when they lost that late penalty against Dundee United, there was barely a complaint. It looked quite a soft penalty to me. There was barely a complaint. There was an acceptance there, John.
Yeah,
it tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm still a little bit 50-50 in terms of if it was. I felt Big Fletcher bought it, and the referee was very, very quick to get to the spot. But there again, being just a young centre-half, Fish, these are part and parcel as you're learning. A more experienced centre-half, maybe knowing who you're playing against, just knows not to, you would know not to stick a leg out there. But yeah, there's something that Hibs, and I've said this numerous times. That's why I said at the start of the game, delighted why Stevenson's in there, Hanlon's in there. These guys know what Hibs are all about. They're a manager's dream. They'll go on the training pitch, they'll set a standard. If it's not getting done right, they'll be after you. I've worked with these guys. These guys know what this club's all about. Once these guys are done, we've got Bud McGregor away, we've got Porteous away, David Gray's now retired. I just don't know where that identity is. And it's massive having players at your club that support the club and know what the club's all about. And maybe that's one of the reasons that you just feel there's not enough character in the team.
Michael, is Mike? I'm interested, Tom, yourself, Michael, John. What are we seeing different in this Hearts side under Stephen Naismith? Is there anything significant?
No, not really. I think there's a few players that have performed a bit better. But look, Stephen Naismith touched on it before the game. This is a side that have played extremely well over a couple of years. They're in a poor run of form. Confidence is low, but I think on large part, Kai Rolls has performed well. There's been a couple of moments where he's got himself caught out of position. There was a slack pass. On the whole, though, I think his performance has been pretty good, and it hasn't been on the last few months. Stephen Kingsley defensively has looked poor. He's been getting caught 1v1 against Cadden and being beaten, and I just don't think that would have happened 6 months ago. Barry Mackay stepped up, as Tom already touched on, and all the good attacking play has been coming down that left-hand side. I think Alan Forrest has looked bright. Atkinson, who's come on, has performed like he hasn't performed in a long time. In fact, ever since he's come to the club, I've not been sure of him, but there today, that's as good as I've seen him playing, and he's looked confident. But on the whole, is there anything different? No, not really. It's this game's on a knife edge, and believe me, as I think Tom just said it, the first goal. Hey, if Hearts score the first goal, the confidence will come flooding back, and it'll look like a completely different performance, and it changes the perception of it all.
Michael, just going back to Forrest, would you know, link to him seeing Hogg in the line a little bit more, and do exactly what Mackay's doing on the left hand side, more down the right hand side, and having a go at Lewis Stevenson?
Yeah, but I wonder whether tactically that's what they've been talking about down this left, is that Barry Mackay, no matter where the game is, he is staying right out on the touchline, and I think Forrest is just he's slightly different in
he's
terms
just
of
roam in a little bit, isn't
well, yeah. If you've got your two wide boys that are just staying with a chalk on their boots, then Lawrence Sharpton's going to be isolated, and I think they're playing this predominantly on the left hand side, and Forrest recognising that is making sure that he's getting in contact with the front man. But I was just going to say, conversely, if Hibs get the first goal, then it's a real test of Hearts' character, and what's been on a terrible run of results, but 1-0 down in the derby away from home, that's a proper test, and that's why the first goal will be very interesting to see what happens, because it changes the dynamic of the game completely.
Naismith on the touchline has been so animated, he's been actually quite entertaining. He's been up and down, he's been jumping up and he's been pirouetting. It's almost like somebody has got an electric shock, giving him an electric shock every now and again. He's just kicking every ball. I hope he saved enough energy to do a bit of a team talk at half-time, because he must be exhausted already.
It's a huge opportunity, Tom. We spoke. He'll look at Barry Robson and think that could be me in a couple of months' time.
Totally. I mean, Barry Robson has been astonishing. I mean, when there was a stat going around this morning, when Robson took over Aberdeen, they were 9 points off bottom place. They're now in third. They're 25 points off bottom place. He's done an incredible job, and it shows you what you can do. And Naismith will see that and go, I want to be Barry Robson. I want to do for Hearts what Robson is doing for Aberdeen. And you can tell he won't. If he fails, he won't fail for lack of passion.
Look, here's the other thing. Before Robbie lost his job, there was a lot of chat about put Stephen Naismith in charge. That's not how football works. It's not as simple as that. There's a guy, great player. He's working with the B team. Aberdeen did it with Barry Robson, and look, it's worked. That's not how football works. But Stephen Naismith's got to come in here, and he's got to attack a different beast here, because the big thing that happened at Aberdeen was a January transfer window where they rectified the Achilles heel of that side. They could not defend. They brought in two centre-halves who are defenders, and that's where it's fundamentally changed. This is a Hearts side, very good Hearts side, extremely low in confidence, with some problems in the team in the midfield and the right side of defence. You can't change that with 7 games to go. So it's a different kettle of fish here.
What about the recruitment then? We Joe Savage on the programme, end of January, the transfer window, Michael, there seemed to be a lot of Hearts fans very happy with the work that he was doing. I know they've got players missing.
It was good. January was extremely poor though.
Yeah.
January was very poor for me. You know, James Hills came in, he's not playing here today, and I think he's okay. He plugged the gap. It's not somebody you'll be looking to keep longer than that. And the two boys they brought in at the top end, Grant Cole and Yutaro Oda. Yutaro Oda is a project signing, and whether he comes good or not, we'll wait and see. But Grant Cole, no, he's had no impact. And then the big one is obviously in the summer, where there was good signings, but also there was poor ones, and they were in the collective area in the middle of the park, which is now a weak part for Hearts that they need to strengthen. Or, as Stephen Naismith's talking about, they need to give youth players a chance. Although there's not too many that are kicking about here just now.
Well, plenty more to come on Sports Sound today. We're with you right through until 7 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, the option of full commentary, Rangers against St Mirren, or of course the option of open all mics. That's right down the leagues. Dunfermline could be crowned champions of League One this afternoon. We've got a reporter at that game. So much more to come on Sports Sound. But for now, back to Easter Road. Hibs against Hearts with John Hughes, Michael Stewart and Rob McLean.
Cheers, Kenny. Halfway to a point apiece if you're going by the interval scoreline, but neither of these two wants to settle for a draw, that's for sure. Both sets of support looking at what a win would mean to their teams. It would get Hearts back to within a couple of points of Aberdeen in third, and for Hibs it would take them to within a point of St Mirren above them. If they can get victory in the derby, a long-awaited victory it would be as well. We are underway in the second half at Easter Road, and Hibs will look to recapture what they delivered for a fair chunk of that first 45. But what was significantly missing was the ball in the back of the net, and not enough saves for Xander Clark to make. He did make one from Eli Yuan. I think we thought it was Egan Riley at the time. It was Eli Yuan's effort saved by the Hearts goalkeeper. That was a big moment. Marshall saving from Halliday's header down at the other end, but not too many heroics required from the goalkeepers so far in this Edinburgh derby, as the ball is played forward to Shankland. His glancing header cleared by Fish into the centre circle for Nisbet, and Joe Newell immediately curls a pass down the right hand side for Chris Cadden. Across goes Mackay. In comes the cross from Cadden beyond the back post. Nobody in that area for Hibs, but Lewis Stevenson getting there, and he fires the ball in. What a chance!
What a tackle. Kai Rogers,
brilliant.
That is a certain, well, mind you, Jake Doyle Hayes I think still got to do better. He's slightly pulling out it, but Kai Rogers sensing the danger, he gets the block in.
Big opportunity for Doyle Hayes on his return to the Hibs team. Massive credit to Kai Rogers for getting there first. It was crucial. It was a great ball in from Stevenson.
Yeah, and as you say, once again, Hibs, they started where, you know, in the last 5 minutes they were a better team in the first half. They started off on the front foot again, and they just need to keep that going, keep believing that goal will come.
It's been a mixed bag from Rolls, mainly good things, and that was certainly a good thing, stopping Doyle Hayes from making the big breakthrough. Forrest turns a pass inside for Hearts and gives it away. Played it without looking, and now he's doing his damnedest to win it back, getting some help as well from Grant. But in goes Joe Newell, just underneath us on the touchline, goes down, no free kick. It wasn't a free kick. Down goes Jago as well. The ball's out for a throw-in. And, well, if we're talking about Stephen Naismith being animated, I think Lee Johnson's doing a pretty good impression at the moment as well, as Forrest scuddies infield with the ball at his feet, gives it to Halliday and back to Kingsley. Hearts will look to be getting Barney Mackay as involved as possible. A pass from Rolls towards him, which he left short, and that was dangerous. In stepped Egan Riley, and the ball goes out on the far side for a Hearts throw-in. Just a matter of weeks ago, Robbie Nielsen's team, as it was, looked home and hosed for third place. How quickly things can change, and dramatically so. And suddenly Aberdeen 5 in front in that race for third spot, which means so much. Hibs 0, Hearts 0, and a free kick on the touchline right hand side for the home team. Just the one change in the lineups, and that happened inside 2 minutes when Michael Smith was injured, and Nathaniel Atkinson has been mighty impressive as his replacement. Coming into a pretty frail and fragile Heart, you would have to say, but he certainly has been on his game as Hibs prepare to take this free kick. Just 5 yards in from the touchline right hand side. Jake Doyle-Hayes delivers it, flights it. Atkinson's header helped further away by Devlin, and then it's cushioned back towards Stevenson and all the way back with David Marshall. Launched up towards Kevin Nisbet, chested down, really good play, really good target man football from Nisbet. For Doyle-Hayes now, Cadden's cross in towards Nisbet, who cushions a pass for Newell, right side of the box, rolled out wide, played in, missed by Sibbick, and it's Yuan with a shot! What a chance, 15 yards out, and he couldn't get it wide of Xander Clark. It's gone pretty much straight at the goalkeeper, big chance.
Yeah, there's a bit of luck that we're talking about, you know, as you say, good cross in. Sibbick made a real mess of it, fell to the feet of Johan, he's dipped his shoulder left, right foot, and he strikes right down the throat of the goalkeeper.
Well, that's the problem for Eli Johan, is his end product. You know, he hit that wee spell, I think it was 5 goals in the space of 4 or 5 weeks, but over the course of the season as a whole, he just doesn't do it enough. And that was a great opportunity as he checks inside on his right foot, and he just sends it right down the throat of Xander Clark.
Hibs in possession in the centre circle. Yuan had gone down after a challenge from Halliday. John Beaton lets it go. Cadden in possession, and he plays it inside for Jago with Newell alongside.
It's too slow. It's too slow from Joe Newell and Jago.
Jago flights a pass out wide for Cadden. Gets the cross ball in, deflected, headed away by Kingsley. Down goes George Grant.
I mean, I don't know what Jago's doing there. You know, misjudging the flight of the ball. You could see all day long he was not going to be able to get in front of George Grant. All he had to do was go in tight behind George Grant. What you're going to do, he's 25 yards for goal, facing, you know, towards his own goal or towards the shy line. Just keep him there.
Yeah.
It was such a poor free kick to give away.
Took the heat off Hearts. And now it's the Tynecastle team looking to get on the ball and keep it for a spell. The ball lofted out wide for Mackay, gets it down on the grass, rolls it left side of the box for Grant. Devlin was looking for the cut back, instead he tried to pick out Mackay. Chance gone, and the game swings now down towards the other end, and striding through is Yuan, who lost his footing.
Well, it was a foul to begin with, and
Sibbick's injured in the process.
It'll be a sore one for Sibbick because Eli Johan slips in the end, but look, I mean, Andy Halliday puts his arm on him and pulls him.
Yeah, he tried to get a hold of the jersey. Johan was too quick running away from him, and when, as you say, slipped there, and when he slipped, he just went right into big Sibbick.
Well, I tell you, down on the touchline, Stevie Naismith and Lee Johnston are about 2 feet away from each other. Stevie Naismith's pointing right in the Hibs manager's face, not happy with something.
Fourth official's calling somebody over. No, he's not getting away with it. Lee Johnston's in trouble here, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the fourth official. Is it? He's telling him, no, he's not getting away with that. Here he comes, John Beaton. Usually this is a red card.
Well, the conversation goes on between the fourth.
You know why, Rob? No common sense nowadays. You never talk to people, just behave yourself. And
there's a yellow card in the hand of John Beaton, and it is heading the way of Lee Johnson.
Well, we don't know what's going on, whether they're both getting it, because he looks like he's walking straight to Stephen Naismith.
Yeah, in fact it is. It's the interim Hearts manager and Lee Johnson who both see yellow.
What a lot of absolute nonsense.
Rubbish. And see a good fourth official just says, come here, they can handle it. You don't have to make a big scene. It's so honest, so pure from the officials.
It's pantomime stuff. Absolute pantomime stuff. I mean, honestly. Oh, brilliant. The two managers have been booked. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, seriously.
Not a lot. Will Fish with a header away out of defence for Hibs. Flicked on.
See, Rob, honestly, sometimes the fourth officials make things worse, because see if there's nobody there, the referee's completely oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah.
Instead, they've been flagged up to something going on, and they both get booked. Pantomime nonsense.
It's not like the old days, John.
No, certainly not. But one thing I think all football guys, managers, coaches, we've all got respect for each other.
Alan Forrest cuts inside away from Yuan. It's all opening up for him. Finally, the shot was blocked by Jago. Clattered off the Australian's back. And Hearts work the ball across to the left-hand side. Kingsley's on the move. Forrest involved as well on the end of the pass from Mackay. And Barry Mackay just lets the ball trundle out of play and has another think. And flings the ball forward. Took it too hurriedly, really, aiming for Forrest. Headed away, it's gone back out. He'll get another
I'm just
chance.
looking at the setup now. You saw Atkinson's prepared now to go there because Devlin's, Johan's cheating a wee bit and he's a little bit scared in case it gets turned over Johan's away, but Devlin's just sitting there in midfield. If they say, go on, you ask the question, if it does break down, get turned over, I'll deal with it.
9 minutes into the second half at Easter Road on BBC Radio Scotland. Hibs 0, Hearts 0. The ball flicked infield towards Mackay. Just casual with it, Barry Mackay, as he tried to play a pass through, and it was intercepted. And now Hibs can launch it down the right-hand side for Kevin Nisbet. He'll hold the ball up here as reinforcements arrive. Oriel cut inside. Try the left foot shot, and he tried to bend it in at the far post, and it wasn't far away.
All started with Joe Newell. Hit a great 40-yard laser over the top. Nisbet's movement. Sibic was playing him on side, and when they got him, I think it was the centre half, was it Roguesy stood him up, dipped the shoulder right, left, come on left foot. That wasn't too far away.
It was good play. Just wasn't able to wrap his left foot round it enough.
Technically very good footballer, Nisbet, isn't he?
Oh yes, aye. Yep.
You just wondered if the net was going to rustle there.
Well, Xander Clark was planted on the spot.
Yeah.
Because he took it very quickly. You know, he shifted it and then had the strike.
Good effort from Nisbet. 10 minutes into the second half. Goalless in the Edinburgh Derby. And so much more in the way of drama, excitement, meaningful matches to come later on in the programme.
Jake Doyle Hayes is lucky. Very lucky. I mean, he did get filled, but then he plays a really sloppy ball that was straight to Barry Mackay. He was trying to play it in front of the defender to step on, but it was weighted all wrong.
Livingston against St Johnstone coming later. Motherwell Dundee United, Rangers St Mirren, Kilmarnock Celtic tomorrow. And Ross County 0, Aberdeen 1 last night. A long weekend in the Scottish Premiership. Hibs with a free kick here for Jake Doyle Hayes. Giving it plenty of air, and it's beyond everybody, and it's bouncing behind, a waste. Hanlon and Fish had gone up for that, but to no great avail. Goal kick, and Xander Clark to take it. Toby Sibic, a bit like Kai Rolls. It's been a mixed bag from the other central defender too. He's got away with one or two, and recently that swing and a miss, and he was fortunate. It's out for a throw-in for Nat Atkinson. 10 yards from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Michael Smith's early replacement. Atkinson's throw beyond Grant, beyond Stevenson. Shanklin tried to flick it on. Will Fish lofts it down the line. Atkinson is there, it's gone high. Up goes Newell. Then it's Atkinson's header. Then it's Jago towards Yuan on the touchline. Tangling with Atkinson, the ball goes out. Hibs throw. Looking to build up ahead of steam again, Lee Johnson's team. They had a great spell first half, but just couldn't find a finish. Forward go the two central defenders, Hanlon and Fish. Incoming, a long throw from Joe Newell. Flat trajectory, headed away by Shanklin. Straight back to Hibs number 11. He rolls it back for Stevenson. Again on the touchline, Newell looking to shimmy away from Forrest. The Hearts man saw it coming, and he gets a boot on it to prod the ball out of play. Can't be separated, these two, 0-0. In comes the throw from Newell. And at the edge of the box, Barry Mackay will clear on the half volley. out close to halfway for a Hibs throw. Lewis Stevenson to take this. Hibs with the 11 on the pitch who started. 3 changes from Tannadice last weekend. Nisbet looks to link with Newell. Great sliding challenge from Halliday. Cleared by Rolls to Forrest, right hand side. The sliding challenge from Nisbet is brilliant to win it for Hibs. Now he's lost it. Devlin winning the ball in the middle on the halfway line. Grant tries to find a way to get down the right hand side. The ball is hustled out of play. Hearts throw.
Well, I didn't see the pirouette from Stevie Naismith in the first half, but I've just seen one for Lee Johnston.
Yeah. Nisbet clips the ball across the pitch, and Kingsley is there before Cadden to play the ball back to Xander Clark, who lofts the ball back in the general direction of Kingsley, but it's over his head and out of play. It's really sloppy, and it hands possession back to Hibs. Egan Riley angling a run infield. Jago plays it back out wide. Jake Doyle-Hayes with a cross, rolls header away up towards Shankland, can't make it stick. Hearts top scorer. Hanlon lofts the ball in behind Kingsley, and Egan Riley gets there first. Behind him is Cadden. His cross ball cleared by Rolls. It was a poor delivery, and you could hear the reaction from the Hibs fans. Now it's Barry Mackay attacking for Hearts, and he's taken out by Cadden. That will be yellow.
Yeah, that's what you call another one for the team. Barry Mackay just cut across him there, you know, and Cadden was, you know, a lung-buster run. He just clipped his heels.
He's having to play, you know, he's having to do a long burst and run because he's poor balling himself, which is, you know, we spoke about it earlier on, and then he delivered a poor one, and that was it there again, and he had time.
Even Michael, if you're crossing that blind, you're looking to miss that first man, aren't you? You're either inside them or cut it back or hang it up on the back post.
But he had time to do it, but the other thing is, Kai rolls again, he gets himself in a great position to block off the near post.
Hearts free kick. George Grant plays it into a great area, drops it into the 6-yard box, back post. Nobody could get there for the team in maroon.
It's a good ball, but it's also, you know, he's shouting at his teammates to get on the end of it, but the difficulty was it is just curling away for them as they're trying to get in close to the back post.
Hearts are going to make a second change in the game, Brian.
Yeah, Stephen Humphreys has been speaking to Stephen Naismith for the last few minutes. He's coming on. The player who'll be replacing Alan Forrest.
On comes Stephen Humphreys.
This will be interesting.
Yep,
Robert. He'll play wide right, because if he doesn't and it goes up top with Shankland, and then Grant comes wide right, that just leaves Jago just in there, just getting on the ball.
Yeah.
You know, they've matched up. They're now for what, a long way plays, 61 minutes.
He offers something different, doesn't he, as Forrest's replacement, looking down to the 5 goals he scored.
He's more a
already.
Forward.
Yep.
Michael Humphreys, yeah.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you could see him playing on the side, but, you know, a little bit more narrow than an out-and-out wide man, but certainly he's come on like for like with Forrest.
As John says, 61, nearly 62 minutes into this Edinburgh derby, fully half an hour to go.
The other thing that I've not seen from Humphreys before is I'm pulling his socks up. He's come on with his socks high up, normally down round his ankles.
Egan Riley plays a long ball, which is way beyond. Kevin Nisbet gives it up early on.
It wasn't a million miles away. I just wonder whether Nisbet's, you know, a couple of minutes ago he was here, he was there, he was charging down, winning the ball. Wonder whether he's just felt the pace a little bit there. Hibs have got Kukarevich on the bench, and he's always impressed me when he's been on the park.
Lovely touch from Humphreys to get control. His first involvement down the right hand side, heading for the byline, and he's won a corner kick off Lewis Stevenson. So an instant impression made by the substitute.
Yeah, if he's not taking you on with a bit of flair, Humphreys, he's got that physicality where it'll be difficult to get the ball off him, as we've seen there. You know, he just leans on Lewis Stevenson, makes him commit the tackle, gains Hearts a corner kick.
And still we wait for the derby breakthrough. Corner kick, right hand side. Barney Mackay plays it in. The Jago header flies high. Hibs get it more comfortably clear. with the second contact. Stevenson up to halfway. Atkinson is there for Hearts. And he rolls a ball into Humphreys, who got himself into a great area, hadn't been picked up, and the ball slips under his boots. Jake Doyle-Hayes driving through a couple of Hearts challenges, still has it down the right-hand side.
That's poor.
Gives a short pass to Cadden.
That's just passing the butt.
Cadden's cross ball in, floated back post. Eliu nods it in, and it's flicked away from Nisbet by the head of Sibic.
I mean, it ends up a very important touch there for Sibic, but honestly, Jake Doyle-Hayes, he does brilliant, but then he's just passing responsibility. You know, Johan and Kevin Nisbet are running through the middle, but there's a 2v1 on his side where Cadden, he just flicks the ball to Cadden as if to say, like, you go and deal with it. Go and attack the defender.
Cadden is attacking Kingsley onto the left foot, cuts inside and tries to curl a left footer. He tried to place it inside the far post. It goes wide.
Chrissy Cadden. I know Chrissy very, very well in terms of a good lad, and I talked to him a little bit about football. And I says that to him, you need to start getting that in your game, Chris. You know, coming inside, either doing that or getting a bounce off the centre forward and going for the return pass. That wasn't too far away.
There was an earlier left footer from Kevin Nisbet which went pretty close, and that was Cadden that time coming in off the right side, and he just tried to pick his spot, but he misses the target.
I got a feeling a goal's coming, Rob, and I think it's going to be for the Greens. No, Michael, not agree, no.
You surprise me.
Hopefully. Am I clutching at straws?
65 minutes exactly on the clock in the derby. Hibs 0, Hearts 0. Yuan to Newell and back. He's racing down the left side. The Frenchman back onto the right foot. Clips a cross in. Headed away by Rolls. Only as far as Egan Riley. A tentative clearance from Kingsley, but he gets a bit of help from Barry Mackay. But the ball is won by Jake Doyle-Hayes. Egan Riley hurrying across, which goes way beyond, but Ellie Ewan makes it work out in the end. Flicks it off Atkinson and behind for a corner kick.
Is it coming now?
I hope so.
Did you have a time?
No, I'm just looking
did you have a time on the goal at all?
I'm just looking at the game. I just think Hibs have got players that are influencing the game a little bit more in terms of in the wide areas. Cadden and Johan in the first half for Hearts. It was certainly Mackay.
Corner kick left hand side for Hibs. Jake Doyle-Hayes to take the corner kick beyond the back post for Hanlon to keep it alive. Kevin Nisbet fires the ball into the roof of the net and makes the Edinburgh Derby breakthrough. 67 minutes gone, his 10th goal of the season as Hibs look to stop the slide.
Oh, you go, Mystic Meg.
Absolutely, there you go. You just feel, you know, you just got a sniff. If it was going to come, it had to come in. It was a great knockback for Hanlon. Nisbet found himself free. All he needed to do is hit the target, and he's done it. Absolutely fantastic. Now they have to keep a clean sheet, because trust me, the game will change. Hearts will now come out, nothing to lose, and they'll have a go, which might suit Hibs.
Oh, you could just see at the back post, it was Hanlon that wins. I think it's Sibic that's caught under it. Just flat-footed a little bit. Hibs wanted it more.
Hearts looking for a quick response. It's Humphreys right side of the box, stopped by Stevenson, and the last touch is off Humphreys. It's gone behind for a goal kick.
And I say wanted it more, you know. Hanlon attacks it really well, and then you've got 2 or 3 Hibs players that are attacking the 6-yard box for the second ball. All the Hearts players were just a little bit static.
Yeah, and don't forget, I'm sure there was one just before that. Sibic just got a flick on one, Michael, something similar. It was Hanlon that played it, or Johan played it across the goal, and Nisbet was just waiting behind him.
Hearts 9 derbies unbeaten. Is that run coming to a shuddering halt? We shall see. Plenty of time to come back at Hibs, but it's the home team who've gone in front, with Kevin Nisbet's goals tally going into double figures.
Well, now it's a real test of Hearts' character, and to be honest, it's been getting tested the last few weeks, but there's none bigger than this right now. 1-0 down, on the back of such a poor run away from home against your biggest rivals.
And Hibs are going to make a change, Brian.
There's Naismith, but Naismith's made the change. Humphries went right through the middle with Shankland, and Grant's come wide right. So what we say is about Jago will have to screen the two strikers, but he'll get on the ball, should be getting on the ball, playing against no opposition.
Yeah, there is going to be a change. Jake Doyle-Hayes is going to be replaced. The player coming on will be number 32, Josh Campbell.
Josh Campbell, who is on the 9-goal mark, which Kevin Nisbet was on until he scored number 10. Here goes Joe Newell down the left-hand side. Stopped in the end by Sibic as Hibs looked to threaten again.
There's a few Hearts players that, you know, big players that have performed really well the last few years. They need to step up here.
Jago's got a job to do here, Rob, in front of the two centre-halves, protecting the balls into Humphries, Shankland protecting. The other midfielders all matched up.
What have Hearts got about them in the derby? Can they come back from a goal behind? Grant slips a pass down the side, doesn't find Atkinson. Stevenson intercepts. It's in behind Sibic for Eli Yuan. As Hibs look to add to their opening goal, the cut-back heading for Nisbet.
That is so poor, and that sums Eli Yuan up for me. You know, driving in on goal, Hearts defence are stretched. All he needs to do is find Kevin Nisbet.
I think it was Cadden standing with the hands out.
Aye, he's at the back, but my point is, as he's driving in there, he's got all the time to make the angle to find the right pass, and he passes it straight to the Hearts defender. That sums Eli Yuan up for me.
Yeah, it was Kai Rolls who intercepted, but he didn't really have to do too much. It was pretty much played straight to him. Yuan unable to pick out a green and white shirt. But Hibs are ahead in the derby. On BBC Radio Scotland, 10 for the season for Nisbet. The finish of a striker who knows exactly what he's doing when that sort of chance comes his way. Jake Doyle-Hayes will be replaced by Josh Campbell.
Yeah, good substitution. He looks like he's getting a little bit leggy. Doyle-Hayes. Josh Campbell, plenty of energy. He'll just go, it'll be like for like playing that right midfield. He'll get in, he'll go up and down the pitch, get in there. He's got a goal in him.
And plus, you've got to remember, Doyle-Hayes has been booked as well. Yeah. So you don't want to be leaving him on the park as he's getting a little bit leggy and sitting on a yellow card. He's
made a good contribution on his return to the team, Jake Doyle-Hayes, and well, you can hear the response he's getting from three sides of Easter Road.
It's going back to the system. Hearts are now 4-4-2, you know, but as I say, Jago will be screaming it, so the way it's pointless playing straight balls, you need to get down the sides.
Free kick Hearts, left-hand side. George Grant to play it in. Will Fish to head it away. Back in from Atkinson. Yuan clears. Grant in the centre circle, tried to direct the header towards Mackay and failed, but it was given away by Egan Riley. And now Grant can curl a ball towards Lawrence Shankland. Grant again, 25 yards out. Turns on the ball, rolls it towards Halliday. Humphries almost in. Good defending from Hibs. And the ball is cleared and out, and a throw in for Hearts. On the right hand side, Cammy Devlin flings the ball back to Toby Sibic. 72 minutes gone in the Edinburgh derby. Hibs 1, Hearts 0. Newell in possession, tries to knock one over the top of Rolls. Nisbet tries to get there and wins it, and will he cut the ball back?
He's got just roll it to him.
He should have cut the ball back for Josh Campbell, and surely Hibs would have had 2 goals.
Oh, he's done so well in his movement. Great ball over the top. He's just been a little bit greedy there. Josh Campbell, great run, late run. He just needed it played in his path, and it's a tapping.
You know, all the criticism of Eli Yuan before, but
lovely ball in from Barry Mackay.
But I mean, there's an opening, and that could sum it up. Hibs go 2-0 up, the game's dead. Hearts are up the other end, and Humphries is having a strike, and Marshall's got to have a good save there. All he has to do,
Michael, isn't
all he has to do, as John said. By the way, does great. He out-muscles Kai Rolls as well, and then faces him up 1v1. Josh Campbell busts a gut to get in line with him, and it's an easy 2 or 3 yard pass, and then it's a tap into the net for Campbell.
Down on the touchline, Brian, now a double change for Hearts.
Yeah, it's going to be busy down here very shortly. George Grant is coming off, as is Andy Halliday. 2 players coming on, Keemert Soglu and Alex Cochrane. There's also going to be a change for Hibernian. It looks as if number 99, Mikhaila Kiharovic is ready. He's stripped, he's ready to come on, and the player being replaced will be number 15, Kevin Nisbet.
Yeah. He's run his race. Nisbet's had a real good game, got his goal. Absolutely delighted for him. It's at the half time with not getting his move and that knee injury. Absolutely delighted for him.
Just listen to the noise for the Hibs goal scorer, Kevin Nisbet. The corner kick knocked back in by Paul Hanlon, and first there was Nisbet to plant the ball into the roof of the net. Is it the goal that's going to settle this Edinburgh derby? On comes Kukarevic. He too put the ball in the roof of the net. That was last weekend at Tannadice. 1-1 at the time. Dundee United won with a late penalty. It was a 4th defeat on the bounce for Hibs. Are they going to stop the slide with a big derby win, a long-awaited derby win? Barry Mackay's cross ball from the right side. David Marshall struggling to get there. He got one hand to it.
An important touch. Managed to just flick it away for Alex Cochrane, was coming in at the back post. Fully stretched Marshall. Important flick. Barry Mackay's come over to the right hand side. It was him that threw that ball in, and Cochrane's over on the left hand side now.
Can Hearts find an equaliser? Can they protect this unbeaten run in the derby? Under threat, courtesy of that Kevin Nisbet goal. Sibic to Shanklin round the corner for Atkinson, right side of the box, and as he hooks the ball in, it comes off Stevenson and it goes behind for a corner.
Yes, Rob, Hibs just need to, no panic. You need to keep the ball, make a few passes, get yourself up the pitch and keep yourself out of position, keep yourself organised. Everybody doing their job.
Inside the last 15 minutes, 1-0 Hibs. Mackay with the outswinging corner kick. Humphreys had a swing at it and missed it. Then he got at it with his left boot, having gone with his right. Deflected behind for a corner on the other side.
Massive 15 minutes for both teams here. As much as Lee Johnson didn't want to talk about it before the game, if Hibs lost this, top 6 is seriously in doubt. And for Hearts here, they lose this game and you can just see 3rd place slipping away. They made the change with Robbie Nielsen going, and they can talk about 3rd place not being important or being overly important, whatever you want. It looks like a distant possibility.
Here's another Barry Mackay corner kick. Doesn't get beyond the first post. The near post. Hibs deal with it now, breaking forward with Yuan, who threads it forward. Kukarevic looking to get there.
What is he doing? Why is John Beaton blowing the whistle? Somebody tell me. Just let the game play out and he can go and book Atkinson anytime you want.
Yeah, it's poor refereeing. You should have, as you say, Hibs were on the front foot. I think it had a 3v2.
Yeah, and Kukarevic is running onto the ball. It's a foot race between him and Cochrane there. The Hibs attackers getting there first. John Beattie can see all that. It's right in front of him. Just let the game play, and you can go back and book whoever you want when the game and the attack is stopped.
Back we go to the halfway line as Hibs were charging forward, looking for the second goal, which you would imagine, could they get it, that would put the match beyond Hearts. Still in it, Stephen Naismith's team at 1 down. What can they find here? Shankland on the ball, and he's hauled back by Joe Newell, and he will be booked for that.
That falls into the category like Jake Doyle is in the first half for me. I don't think he needs to, he's touch tight with Shankland. Shankland's cut across the face of him, so he's going to get to the ball first, but he's right there. Just take a couple extra strides and you can slide and potentially win the ball.
So many positives if Hibs can win the derby. Back to within a point of St Mirren above them. reopening their plans to qualify for one of those European places, and also the chance to do serious damage to Hearts' plans of finishing third. Cochrane in the middle of the pitch. His pass intercepted. Rolls against Kukarevich, and goes Devlin. Campbell is there. Hibs win it.
He's offside, Ellie Johan. The flag will go up here.
Johan running in behind Atkinson, to the byline he goes. The flag still hasn't gone up. It has now.
The amount of times he gets into those dangerous areas and does nothing is incredible. I mean, obviously it didn't matter because he was going to get flagged offside, but again, he gets in, he's attacking that near post area, and he just flicks the ball. You know, there's no real conviction with what he's doing when he gets in there.
11 minutes to go in the Edinburgh Derby. Hibs 1, Hearts 0. Kevin Nisbet. The ball with Mackay, right hand side for Hearts. Cuts infield away from Stevenson. Good run from him, links with Cochrane, and he rolls it wide for Kingsley. Stephen Kingsley's floated cross, back post. Humphreys knocks it to the other side of the goal. Nobody there for Hearts. And Hibs can get that clear. Egan Riley up towards Kukarevich. In goes Rolls.
Oh, that was great centre forward play in terms of putting his body and holding it in and just try to force a pass. Just keep a hold of it, get your team up the pitch.
He'd done the difficult bit and then he gave it away. Kukarevich. Sibic in the centre circle. Kimotsoglu swings a pass out wide right for Atkinson. In goes Yuan. The ball goes out. Hearts throw. Time will quickly start to run out for the Tynecastle team, but Atkinson gets in behind and drives the ball across goal. Great defending from Hanlon, who knocks it behind.
Well, no doubt there'll be nerves setting in for this Hibs side, not having won the derby in a while, being on a poor run of form.
This really would rewrite the record books. Boxing Day 2019, the last derby, Hibs won. Mackay's outswing and corner kick is en route. Defended by Josh Campbell, who had the composure to chest it down and then hook it clear. Out for a throw-in on the left-hand side. In the Leith sunshine for Hearts. Can they find a moment here? Can they produce some quality in their search for an equaliser? Forward goes Cadden. It's a great run from him.
It's great play for Chris Cadden.
Yeah.
You know, eventually goes out for the shy, but he's taking his team 50-60 yards up the park. Relieves a lot of pressure for Hibs as well.
Hearts with Humphreys and Mackay on either side of Shanklin in the attacking areas, but they need to get possession of the ball. They need to supply those three.
They need to be better, because in the second half they've not looked that dangerous, Hearts. You know, in the first half you saw Barry Mackay looking like he was maybe going to create something. It's not been the case in the second half.
It's untidy from Hearts, it's given away. Egan Riley with a great run and a ball across goal, which is dealt with by Atkinson just about. What an inviting ball that was into the 6-yard box. Nobody there for Hibs as they look to get this derby tied up. Good skill from Yuan, a deflected cross, and Sibic has to deal with it and gets a bit of help from Atkinson, who shrugs off the challenge from Yuan. Sliding in was Campbell, and the ball goes out for a Hearts throw.
Well, you can see Hibs' tails are up here.
You've got someone to hang on to, Michael.
Exactly. You know,
and it's a matter of seeing the game out, as I said earlier on, keeping your shape, keeping your concentration, but help yourself. Keep the ball, have a bit of belief that you can keep the ball and move yourself and play the game in Hearts half.
But you've hit the nail on it. They've got something to hang on to here, and they're throwing their bodies in line. They're going to have to keep doing that for the last, well, it'll probably be 10 minutes or so when you include the injury time. They need to be brave. Hibs, not just in terms of the throwing themselves in front of the ball, but also continuing to get on the ball. because there's no point in just kicking the ball anywhere and turning it over. Got to show a little bit of composure as well.
Big cheer from the Hibs fans there as Humphreys and Shanklin tried to link up, and it all went horribly wrong, and the Hibs fans loved it. And they're loving the fact that the clock is ticking into the 84th minute now. Hibs 1, Hearts 0. They've lost to Rangers and Celtic and Motherwell and Dundee United. 4 defeats on the bounce, but they're ahead in this one, the match that matters so much. And this could be a real springboard for them for the rest of the season. And it could be a massive lift for Lee Johnson, the manager, as well. At the end of the week in which his opposite number, Robbie Nielsen, was sacked. Sibbick's header forward. Chested down by Newell, and then he lofts it for Yuan to change pace and head for the byline. Looking to turn back onto his right boot. Devlin gets it away from him. Now Atkinson looks to drive down the touchline. Newell's challenge, no free kick. Atkinson tries again. He's down again. It's a free kick this time.
Have you seen somebody get into so many dangerous areas so often and do nothing, John?
Yeah, I know. It has been a problem. I speak to the Hibs supporters. They see that, and you know, if the final, the most important thing you do on the pitch, you can beat is your final pass. The final thing, the final pass.
He gets
and
to
you
the
have
byline.
to execute it.
You know, and you see guys that, you know, are in those areas, and seldom do they go and get to the byline, which is the best, but he does it all the time, and seldom comes up with that final ball. When you get to the byline, it's not difficult balls. It's 5-10 yard passes, cutbacks, picking somebody out, and he seldom does it.
Almost inside the last 5 minutes at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Hearts 0. Are they going to end Hearts' long unbeaten run in this famous fixture? They can see the finishing line here.
Well, as I said, second half Hearts have not looked dangerous. I can't really remember, you know, anything happening in the second half that's really shown the Hearts support like they're knocking at the door, they're going to create or they're going to score. It's not happened so far.
Nothing much sparkling from Hearts, and they are very quickly running out of time. A throw in for Hibs, 5 yards from the corner flag, taken by Yuan, gets it back. No great pressure on the ball, but he swings in a disappointing cross which is beyond everyone.
Yeah, here's another substitution. It's Muller, the fullback. I'm just looking over there. Egan Riley just struggling there, a little bit of cramp. I think that'll be link for link.
Here goes Sibbick forward for Hearts, gives it away, and as the ball is played down the middle, looking for Yuan, it was Devlin sliding in to intercept for Hearts. Crossfield from Mackay, looking for Cochrane, doesn't find him. Nothing much happening for Hearts at the moment. Hanlon plays a ball into the corner for Yuan to chase and get there, takes his eye off it, and the ball goes out off his shin and will head down to the touchline. And Brian,
yeah, there's going to be a couple of changes. Joe Newell will be replaced. The player coming on will be Lewis Miller, and there's also number 18 Ewan Henderson is going to be coming on, although there still may be some debate as to who's coming off, but certainly in fact it's 26 Egan Riley's now coming off for Ewan Henderson.
He's struggling with cramp, Brian. I've been watching him for the last 5 minutes. He shouted over to the bench.
The Hibs fans on their feet again. Off comes CJ, Egan Riley.
He can be really pleased with his performance. I felt he's really stuck to his task, especially in the first half when he was up against Mackay.
Joe Newell's off as well. As Hibs look to get the job done here with 2.5 minutes of regulation time remaining in the Edinburgh Derby. They've lost 2 and drawn 1, Hibs, so far this season.
You look at the subs that have come on for Hearts. they've not done anything. You know, Humphreys has come on and he's had next to no impact at all. Kmart-Soglu in the middle of the park, he doesn't, you know, he doesn't do anything for me. And Cochrane's been out injured recently. He's coming on that left-hand side, but not being able to, you know, force any change in the direction of the play as Kingsley's picking up a yellow card now.
Yeah. Foul on Cadden and a booking for Hearts number 3, and it just allows Hibs to slow things down again and edge closer to that full-time whistle. 90 seconds left of 90 minutes.
Rob, Stephen Humphreys is an interesting one for me because he's shown that he's got the quality, but I think it strikes at the heart of a problem for a few of the Hearts players. Lack of desire.
Should have Humphreys come on for Forrest? I would have liked to have seen Forrest on there with Mackay and the wide areas and Humphreys up front.
Miller launches the free kick towards the left side of the penalty box. Kukarevich busting a gut to keep that alive. Devlin tries to intercept and get the ball for Hearts. There's a scrap, and in steps John
That's
Beaton.
a bounce ball.
Devlin comes up with the ball in his hand. It's going to be a free kick for Hearts.
That's what you call the easy way out, Rob. The referee just taking the sting out of it.
We're inside the 90th minute. 4 to be added. Hearts are 4 minutes away from 6 defeats on the bounce. And that 5-point gap would remain between 3rd and 4th. And this is going to be massive for Hibs if they can navigate their way through the next 4 minutes.
Oh! Now that's a free kick.
Yeah,
that's a free kick. That's a little tent in there.
Down goes.
Listen, the ball's in the air. Is entitled to go for it, Josh Campbell. But he's made sure he wasn't coming off second best. And rightly so, if that's the way the game's, if the ball's there and it's there to be.
There was an angry reaction among the other players to that challenge.
That's what I'm saying, the players know, you know, Rob.
Yeah.
4th official. But there again, it's there to be one. I think it's Grant. It's
Kmart-Soglu.
Is it? It's come off second best.
Yeah.
I think he's caught him more with the shoulder than anything else.
Thankfully sitting up, because it did look a bad one initially and there was a lot of concern about him initially.
I think it is the shoulder. And John, like, I was never, you're one that likes to go and head the ball. It was never one that I was comfortable with. I'm not surprised he's picked up a yellow card. I just thought it was naive, because I don't think he was ever going to be able to win the ball.
Yellow card for Paul Hanlon as well, for what he said on the back of that. And still Kmart-Soglu is being attended to. He's sitting up though.
And when it's the head like that, it just makes you shudder a wee bit when they're getting clattered.
Yeah. And the landing, Michael, because the legs, you know, he's come down and there was no legs there.
Yeah, it was a shuddering impact, that. Leanne, what did you think?
Yeah, a shuddering impact. It was exactly that. A yellow card sufficed for me. There was nothing more to it. Just 2 players looking to go and contest the ball, and one comes off worse than the other.
No intent?
No, not for me, John. No.
Okay.
So yellow card, then the right decision. Inside stoppage time at the end of the Edinburgh derby. Hearts a goal down. What can they do about it as Lewis Miller clears for Hibs and the ball bounces out of play on the far side. Well, Stephen Naismith was hoping change of manager would mean a change of fortunes for Hearts, but it's looking like the song remains the same as time runs out here for the Tynecastle team, and it's their chance of finishing 3rd drifting away from them as well. It certainly looks that way, with only one more game pre-split to come for them, and that's at home to Ross County next weekend. But here's Lawrence Shankland at the edge of the area, and Hearts are going to have a free kick. right in front of
Paul
goal.
Hanlon's just been booked.
He's off. He's off.
Paul Hanlon.
Oh no, it's
the spray.
It's his magic shaving foam he's pulled out. I thought it was the yellow card. Second yellow.
Yeah, if it had been, he's off. But it is going to be a free kick. This is the moment for Hearts to try to rescue themselves in the derby. There won't be too much football to follow this.
This is where you get all your big boys in the walls. You jump, you get someone below it, and you're hoping that the smaller players take care of anything else that's going on. Make sure you're on the seconds if it comes back out.
Is this one for Stephen Kingsley? It's about only a couple of yards. It's in the D. It's only a couple of yards outside the penalty box. Is there room to get this up and down, or does it need to go either side of the wall? David Marshall organising. If Hearts can't score here, then they are heading to derby defeat. What a moment. It's Stephen Kingsley, it's into the wall. Barry McCoy takes a shot on, that's blocked as well. Campbell tries to get it away. Hibs do get it away. And that should be just about that. Hearts need the ball forward, and they need it forward quickly. Xander Clark launches it up. Headed away by Jego, out of play far side. Three sides of Easter Road screaming for the final whistle. In comes the long throw for Hearts. Last chance saloon. Devlin at the edge of the box loses it, and now Hibs on the break can put the icing on the cake here.
How is he not past that to Cadden?
Pass the ball.
Stop
Cadden and Johan, he had two options.
It was Cadden was the pass, and it wasn't difficult.
Now it's Josh Campbell, and he's heading for the corner flag.
Game over.
Hibs win the Edinburgh Derby for the first time since Boxing Day 2019. How sweet does that feel for the Hibernian support? After 4 straight defeats, which question their ability to secure a top 6 finish, they find the win they so desperately wanted against their biggest rivals. And in moving to within a point of St Mirren, what damage have they done to Hearts and their hopes of finishing in 3rd place and the European bonanza that follows? Because that is 6 straight defeats for the Tynecastle team, and they stay 5 points adrift of Aberdeen in 3rd place in the Premiership. They were hoping the change of manager would give them a lift, but the story remains the same for Hearts. Deeply disappointing defeat for them in the derby, and it's derby delight for Hibs. And that 9-game unbeaten run of Hearts in this famous fixture is brought to a grinding halt. Kevin Nisbet's goal, brilliantly taken, his 10th goal of the season. He is the derby match winner. Hibs 1, Hearts 0.
The Scottish Premier